Sweetest candy starts off sour. How many of you like Sour Patch Kids? Oh, I'm in a room full of that. That's what I'm talking about right there. Well, Sour Patch Kids was one of those things I enjoyed eating as a young child. My favorite part was seeing how funny my face looked when I was going from the sour to get to the sweet, going from the sour to get to the sweet. I didn't realize that this would become symbolic of life's journey. I found it funny how my faces looked then, but I didn't realize in 2015 how funny I looked to an audience of kids in a high school in Baltimore City as I was trying to speak positivity to a room full of negativity. There was a young lady off in the room. She was completely disengaged, looking at me side-eye, and I just wanted to know what was her problem. So I went and asked her. She said, "My mom is on drugs, I don't know my father, and my grandmother is working 2 and 3 jobs." See, this stuck out to me. I knew I had to do something about it, but I didn't know what to do because, hey, I just got laid off, so I was broke. Truth is, I started doing some research. The average income of a household of 4 in Baltimore City was $40,000. And truth is, not much has changed. Well, I was doing the math I'm doing the math for the community, and I was doing the math in my own life. Professionally, I was broke. Personally, I was broke, but I definitely wanted to do something about it. In reality, I felt just as alone as this young lady did during this time. I was jobless. I was super, super broke. And every day I would wake up and start counting my account. I was like, man, 0. Next day, negative. Negative again. Another fee. This is what counting in my life looked like. And I realized I really need to change my perception in the way I was perceiving the things that were happening around me. So, just as broke as this slide is. Sorry. I realized I felt just as alone as that young lady, but I had to do something about it. She didn't have a family supporting her. I did. My family had my back. My mother and father always told me I could do something about it, and I realized darkness was just the absence of light. So it was time for me to turn my light on. What did my light on look like? It looked like me counting different. No, the next slide you'll see, I wasn't counting M&Ms. Oh. I wasn't counting M&Ms. I was counting the sweet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I was literally waking up every day to count my fingers because I felt privileged to even feed myself. These were the things I had to count because I had nothing else in life that I could be grateful for. But I didn't know that this gratitude practice would actually turn into something super sweet in life. See, I went back to work a year and a half later, and I went back in a position that I felt was like a little entry level, and it was super, super low play. It humbled me, but it taught me a valuable lesson. It taught me about relating to folks who had to return back to the space. It taught me how to lead people who would also have to come back to this industry. And it put me in position to relate to those who would be older than me at some point, and I would have to lead later on. This is kind of where this bridge of the 2 perfect worlds come into play. My mother would call this faith like a mustard seed. I needed to have some hope. My hope was, if I just hoped a little longer, I could cope a little longer, and something eventually would change. And so in the midst of all of this, there was something being developed in me below the soil that nobody else could see. I was so anxious to get to the leaf part, but there was something being developed in me to be able to lead and serve people from a place of humility and authenticity. See, in reality, people do not eat seed, they eat fruit. This is what a life poured out is about. And so that processing that I went through those years before, it led me to a place to be able to serve in the community, to teach people, hey, there's gonna be some sour, but you can add some sweet, and you can live a life poured out and be lemonade. And so my message is all about lemonade. It's about taking the sour in life and realizing that the journey is getting to the sweet. You may make a funny face in the process, but you'll get there. And so keep going, keep pushing. Nothing in life is ever wasted. My lemonade stand is I go back to those same communities where I met that young lady and help folks that are making $40,000 triple and double their salary by way of tech. This is my lemonade stand again. Thank you, guys.